Hello and welcome to Perspectives. Politicking, electioneering is at its peak, or will be peaking out very soon. There are stakeholders which have to go through the judicial process, see if they get approved to be a part of this election or not. But there are two stakeholders, two parties, which are almost absolutely head-on. They have been questioned for their enmity many a time. They have been criticized for going against each other, even though public felt that they should have allied. But they have taken a position, a strong position, of staying against each other. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf and Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Group. Today we would have two representatives from both of these parties, and four young representatives from the youth, educated students from various universities in Karachi, and we will have a cross-questioning session. But before I go into the show, I would like to remind you that we are live. I will not be able to watch my Facebook or email, but I will be watching my Twitter, and any tweets I will try to include without editing. So please, I multitask, so it's a bit of a task for me. Make relevant tweets, keep it clear, keep it clean, and would love to include your comments in the show. Unfortunately, our friend from PML-N is stuck in traffic. He is on his way, and he will be here in a few minutes. But in the interest of time, we are starting already. Mr. Nihal Hashmi would be representing PML-N. He'll be here shortly with us. But from Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, Dr. Arif Alvi, Secretary General.
I'm not a Secretary General right now. I'm a candidate from NA 250.
So you've left that position, and now you've decided your candidate.
There were elections in our party, and I lost the election.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I congratulate you on that, because that's a good sign. That's
definitely.
If I
lost, but the party won.
With apology, if I use the word stalwarts like you've been the front runner for the party, and if you've lost, that's a good sign. Rigged or non-rigged?
No, I don't think so.
Not rigged.
It was a fair election.
Fair election. All right. I'd like to introduce the students with us. Ms. Afshan Khan is with Iqra University. Afshan, thank you very much for being here. Mr. Muzammil Shahid from Institute of Business Administration. Muzammil, thank you very much. Ms. Aruba Nisar from Iqra University again. Aruba, thank you very much for being here. And Mr. Umar Dar again from Institute of Business Administration. Umar, thank you very much for being here. Dr. Saab, unfortunately, Nihal Saab will be joining us shortly. I'd like to start with you. We had a show yesterday, interestingly, with your son.
Really? Oh, he didn't tell me.
Communication gap.
Communication gap. The generation
but
gap.
I say that jokingly, but I actually say that as my question. I feel that Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf started as the spokesperson, the front runner for the youth of Pakistan. But very quickly, they decided that they have to shift the gears to the masses. And while addressing to the masses, they may have become slightly illogical at times in the slogans and jalsas and the statements you make. And the educated young people of Pakistan got lost somewhere. Is it we had a full argument about that yesterday. Do you agree with my perception? Or
no,
do you not?
I don't think so. One, I think primarily in the last 8 or 9 months, we have been very involved in our own election process. Mm-hmm. When we started and we decided to have our elections, we thought that we'll get a membership of 5 to 10 lakh people, and that would be enough, and we started the process. But lo and behold, it was a pleasant surprise that our membership kept on increasing, and it went to about 1 crore and 5 lakhs. And by the time we made them to go through a sieve, and only those who had ID card numbers, valid ID card numbers, they were selected. So there were 75 lakh people who were our members. To do an election in 75 lakh people, 7.5 million, is a huge task. It's unimaginable, really, throughout the region. And people fought, people went to courts. You've seen it, all that, and that probably shows that you're generous.
But your electioneering is now not catering to, I feel, with no offense meant here, but I feel it is not catering to the initial. It is not new politics anymore. It's the same song that has been sung by the other party.
I would disagree with that, because I think elections is a new song. Nobody has ever sung that song. So that way it is new.
We've had elections before.
Within a party?
No, I'm not talking about.
No, I'm talking about the party.
I'm talking about the kind of promises being made, the kind of slogans being used, the electioneering that's happening in jalsas, the lines we're hearing are the kind of lines.
For example, from PTI? Yeah. For example, I would like to hear that, something which is bothering some people I'd like to hear that, and maybe I have an explanation, maybe not, but at least I will know.
Electricity solved in so many days, corruption gone in 90 days. We will do this.
Let's pick up one of these. Let's pick up one of these. We've never said electricity solved in so many days. We've said that within 2 years the load shedding issue would be far less than ever before, and within 3 and 4 years people will forget that there's load shedding. It is possible. It is
That's
possible.
exactly what we heard with other parties before.
Yeah, but they've never done it, you know. So
But
there's a difference, you know.
same election
Promises are common, promises are free, promises are done by all parties, and the two major parties which have been in power for 5 times each have never delivered. So if they promise the same thing we do, there's always a possibility.
Or you promised the same thing they did.
They did, but our policies came first. At least in this election run-up.
Okay.
At least in this election run-up, our policy on gender, our policy on electricity, our policy on education, our policy on health, and all those, we worked hard. You know why we worked hard? Not to show it to people that we have policies, but the fact that we should get ready for coming into government ourselves. It was our need, not.
So you're saying the promises are part of electioneering?
No, I'm saying those promises are part of our own dream, and we want the people to live that.
But they're also part of electioneering. But I should not compare your promises with promises which have failed in the past.
They can be the same because the promises can be the same.
Fine, fair point.
Copy paste.
Considering the IMF loans and bailouts that we have acquired over the past 60 years or so, the terms and conditions the IMF has imposed on the government, do you really think that the promises that PTI is making, the electricity, all the unemployment, inflation, and all those things, would they be able to circumvent those terms and conditions that IMF has imposed on Pakistan?
Why do we take loans from the IMF? We take loans from the IMF because we do not generate our own funds. We do not tax our own people. The tax to GDP ratio is a miserly 9%. Even India has a much higher tax to GDP ratio. Every country in the world, except the few African countries, have a lower tax to GDP ratio. If we don't want to pay for our governments, if we don't want to pay for construction in Pakistan, we'll have to beg and borrow from abroad. And that is what has been happening. So, the first thing which is possible, and it is easily possible, there is a black economy, which is as big as the white economy or probably bigger. There is so much of pilfering which is going on. There is so much of policy non-taxation. You see, agriculture has not been taxed. For example, Punjab, the responsibility of taxation in agriculture has lay with the provinces. Punjab did not tax agriculture at all. Hardly a few crore rupees were taxed. If you don't tax, and if you don't tax your own people, the rich people, how do you expect the country to run? So IMF policies are there, have been there because we have not taxed our own people. Hillary Clinton went to Germany, and the German Chancellor Merkel and Hillary Clinton both made a statement that you don't tax your own people and you come and borrow from us and beg from us. So I think that policy, even our foreign policy, can only be independent if we are economically independent. If we are not economically independent, we'll be borrowing from people, begging for money, and that's what.
No, sir, that's medium to long term solution. I think the question is immediate short term.
Immediate solution. Within the first year, you stop big pilferage. You know, big pilferage happens like this. If you remember, in Pakistan Steel, Riaz Premji, that name has vanished now because it was a hit and run. There were 22 billion rupees of worth of stock, and there were 8 billion rupees of cash. And within 6 months, those stocks were sold at very low prices, creating a major loss to the steel mill, and 8 billion rupees in cash. And steel mill has been begging for money from the central government since then. So these things happen. It happened within the first 4 or 5 months. Major corporations.
So what you're saying is to be able to plug
mega corruption.
But with that, you would completely ward off IMF and other lending agencies.
I believe that we will start getting out of the problem. Now, Turkey in the last 10 years. I'm giving an example.
My apologies. Turkey is a different game.
Sure.
We are seriously indebted.
Absolutely. We doubled our debt.
Right.
In the last 5 years.
Fine.
But
how would you break away from that whole cycle of
Not debt? Right away. You can't break right away.
So you would have to toe their policies.
No, we don't have to toe their policies. You have to perform whatever loans you've taken. You have to pay them back. You start taxing your own people, number one. At the same time, make the country business friendly. It is not even business friendly. Taxation does not mean that we are unfriendly to business. Taxation means all these big corporations which come in, McDonald's, etc. They pay their taxes and they still make mega bucks.
That is correct.
Yeah.
But IMF has their own, I will not say the word IMF.
Terms.
The lending agencies
Have their own terms.
have their own terms and have their own agendas and they have their own visions about it.
Yes.
Because they have invested heavily in this country. So what you're saying is, you will come in, plug a few holes, and you've saved the country.
No, not right away. We start on the process to recovery. Let's not make a promise that we can't deliver, that in 1 year we'll be clear. We will not be.
So you're saying you'll break that track?
Yes. I mentioned that Turkey, it took 10 years for them to get out of that IMF and lender bind.
But you're promising immediate recovery. You're saying we'll be free of IMF.
No. They paid back in 10 years. What I'm saying, they paid back in 10 years. It will take us 10 or 15 years to pay back $60 billion worth of loans. You can't pay it off in 1 year or 2 years.
Considering all that you have said, would you be restructuring the whole government? Because that would have to come from the restructuring of the whole government, from the top to the bottom.
Yes.
From the top government, parliament, and to the lowest bureaucracy.
Level.
Yeah.
I think when you start thinking of government, you have to look at transparency. You see, the biggest hindrance against corruption would be transparency. If you open up things, you open up bidding processes, if you open up the sale of land, for example, number one. Number two, you have a government which is spend thrift. You have a government which is not spending too much in its own management and maintenance. Not so many ministries. We've proposed in our policies the reduction in the number of ministries, because
but that's not
what has
possible.
happened.
The constitution's already been passed for that. The cabinet will have to be small.
Actually, you can still trim. You know what is happening? If there are ministries, they have ministers of states, they have advisors, they accommodate everybody. Like in Balochistan.
But now there is a cap on that.
Only
the last government was exempt.
Still
okay.
happening.
Interesting. I don't know what gold or diamonds are buried in NA250.
Coal.
NA250.
No, coal is not buried, but in Pakistan there is a lot.
No, but NA250. Do you know the people? Mr. Faisal Qureshi has just tweeted this. Do you know the people contesting? Arif Alvi, Ikhtiyar Beg, Khushbu Shujat, Nematullah Khan, Nihal Hashmi, and Afia Siddiqui, sister of Fawzia Siddiqui, and Pervez Musharraf. What exactly my point, which I made initially? Everybody wants the defense Clifton youth, and none of them are talking to them. Please correct me if I'm wrong. What is happening in defense Clifton? Everyone wants NA250?
I think the hope. I think the hope of the literate class is that in defense area and in these areas, if people don't actually know, this NA250 comprises of more voters who are not in defense and less voters who are in defense. Number one. Number two, people should also know that it is the elite class and the people of defense who vote very poorly. And the people from the Kachi Abadis vote.
It is mandatory that I interrupt you here.
Sure.
Humble apology. You can see Mr. Nihal Hashmi standing there. Let's take a very, very short break. We'll wire Mr. Nihal Hashmi, keep him in, and we'll continue our discussion. In fact, if my producer would allow me, we would just continue and let Mr. Nihal take seat. Nihal, please. In the interest of time, we would just go very informally and let you join in. Thank you. Please, sir, have a seat. We are live. We're on air. Please have a seat. Please, sir, have a seat. The discussion, Mr. Nihal, we'll just wire you quickly. We were talking about initially how PTI, who initially started talking to the educated youth of Pakistan, may have lost that plug and gone mass, which Mr. Alvi has already quoted, has responded to. But now, what is happening? You are NA250 as well?
No, I'm NA251.
251. Okay, somebody quoted NA250.
Just
missed it by one. But what's so important about Defence Clifton and the adjoining areas in NA250? Ms. Fawzia Siddiqui, Mr. Pervez Musharraf, Mr. Nematullah Khan, Ms. Khushbu Shujat, Arif Alvi, Ikhtiyar Beg. So what is so important that we'll discuss that. Let's take a short break. We need to wire Mr. Nihal Hashmi. Let's take a short break. With us, watching Perspectives, And the correction from Norbert that Ms. Khushbu Shujat is not from 250. Maybe there's some confusion in the data I'm getting, but generally speaking, every political party, you with your laptops and tablets and computers, you with your slogans, want this segment of the society to vote. Yet I feel this segment of society has been ignored. What would you say?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yes, during this tenure of 5 years, we were not in power, we were not in the government of Pakistan. We were a portion of a province, a portion of Pakistan. And we did our level best to improve the education level, health level, to provide youth activities like youth festival, sports festival, distributing. Yes, this is their fundamental right. What we have done by giving them a laptop, it is not enough, because Pakistan is a welfare state, and it is the responsibility of the state to provide health, education, safety, security, and all other environment. And as well as Article 32 says that you have to improve the economy of the common man, of the society.
Sure.
So it is a state where it is the responsibility of the state, and we are not giving it from our own pocket. It is again state's money. So what we have drawn from the exchequer fund, we are returning it to them. And inshallah, I gave you assurance that if God give us a chance, next time we will extend this facility all over Pakistan. And they are the real Pakistan. We are outdated Pakistan almost. So they should have a proper opportunity to make Pakistan more peaceful, more developed, more political, more democratic, because I believe, in my personal view, that somehow we managed to keep our youth away. Siyasat, it is not a good subject, or sure, don't involve in politics. Go and please, my son, leave this country and go in USA and make your career. On
if you don't get involved in politics, you don't have a right to complain. So you have to get.
No, everybody should have a right, and they should involve in politics. Because if you ask a person who is not capable to run the state affairs, it is a science how to run the state affairs, how to manage your finance, how to manage your 5 years plan, how to manage your educational
and you
plan.
feel you've done well on that?
I feel that areas? We are moving towards that.
The PML-N government in Punjab has done well.
Because, we have always chosen the right people. We have, exemplary, Umar Saif is with us. The man who is a PhD in IT. Sure. And this kind of people, young, youth, elite, they are not only the observer, that they are the planners and architects of our youth and for our future Pakistan.
PTI has been a great, been very aggressively against your metro bus, almost violently against it. What would you say to that? And then we have a question coming here.
This is, we have not been against. We just think that the priorities should be better. I believe it is good for Lahore. I think it is good for Lahore.
Violent.
I think it is good for Lahore that a busing system is there, but we question priorities, we question priorities, expenditure on health,
but you're missing my point. The terms used were almost a little too aggressive. Yeah. And that's exactly my point when I said electioneering, fantastic. Slogans, fantastic. But from both sides,
I sent 10 questions to Mr. Shahbaz Sharif openly.
Let me just say why I keep going back on that. The language used is what we used to hear in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. I think some of us would like to hear a different language in 2013. But I guess masses are more important, which is fine. That's where the vote bank is. So every party has chosen their side.
The prime responsibility and quality of a leadership, that he should be brave and visionary. Nawaz Sharif have a visionary approach while in 90s, and he visualized to go into the communication sector, whether it is a motorway, fiber optic, the cell phone, computer system, airports, good terminals, open sky policy, taxi, yellow cab, whatever. And similarly, now the people are recognizing and realizing that nowadays our railway system is almost pepper down. The only way to communicate and transport the goods and whatsoever you say is road nowadays. So in a heavy traffic, a country with 180 million people don't have this facility to move fastly and quickly, and it is very viable and economical. On the other hand, time is the most important sector in Pakistan. A worker, a clerk, a doctor, a student, he wants to travel from one place to another place and he is spending 2 hours.
So basically making it efficient for them, and you feel...
Now, we have a plan that we will go for a underground as well, bullet train and whatever you call Karachi circular.
Bullet train within Lahore?
Karachi, even in Karachi. And Lahore, Karachi, Lahore, Peshawar as well.
Okay, Muzammal, you've been waiting?
Basically, I want to ask, the saddest part is that our youth, us, have not been part of the political system or the political education. The word is political education. I'm a student of political history and politics. Why isn't any party, this is an open question, why isn't any party doing something to enhance the political education of the youth? Because
Elaborate on political education.
political education meaning what is a democracy, what is a democratic system.
It's not really the responsibility of politicians.
If we don't know about the political system or we
I
don't
do
have a
agree with-
political
I
education,
do fully agree with you because it is individual and collective issue.
But there's a better
I personally feel like that. I know about his son as well. My daughter, she's in Mascam and she got a position in intermediate, most probably 6th or 7th. My son is in IR. And I asked them, go and work as a worker wherever. Aajkal tum sirf chatai bichhao and narebazi and study. Go each and every jalsa, julus, whatever available with you. Primarily what we used to do, don't go. Don't go,
So basically
keep away.
encouraging them to
so it is
become- get politically
individual,
aware.
firstly individual, and then it is a collective decision of the society
But this
to
can-
promote a culture.
I agree.
Mr.
I think it can be handled in a better way, which PTI is intending to doing. I'm sure other parties will also look into this. We are not constituency politicians. This is very clear. If we pick up constituency politicians, we will have the same ideas which have been being used for the last 6 years, and there will be no change. So we are a party which wants change, not only as a message to people to attract people, but actually from within ourselves. We want change. So therefore, Mr. Imran Khan promised 25% tickets to the youth. I sat in the parliamentary board for two days before, and I assure you, it's a very important statement which we are putting through, that at least 25% of the tickets will go to people under 35. This is remarkable. That's how you involve people. That's how you have a younger lot. And if people know this massive change which comes through, like Mr. Bhutto, they would also remember that the average age of his cabinet was 42. So the youth are the new thing. And just talking about the youth, the fact that we are interested in youth votes is not for the party. We want the youth to get involved in Pakistan, and what better way than to get them elected.
When you say giving X
First of all, the best way to involve the youth in politics is to allow them institutional elections in colleges and universities. So they should have experience.
That's long term. In the short term, but there's one quick question. That's where I feel there's the slogan. I hope that the number of young people you would give tickets to would also be capable, and you would just not try to fill reserved seats by young people to make a statement.
No. That is a very important question.
I don't want just a young man
if we are losing a
making my
seat,
laws.
if nothing's happening, then we give it to the young man. That's not true. We are giving
I didn't
important
mean that.
seats.
I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
I said because you said you're going to get X number
To
of
educate
tickets
young
to
people.
capable to make laws.
Of course. You see, people at this age, if you go to the US or if you go to any European country, you'll find that the politicians range between 35 and 45.
Okay.
They're not in the older segment. So it is the vitality, the vibrancy in the youth will bring a change. It has to be a new vision.
No question there. No question.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sir, you have been talking about the things that Mr. Nawaz Sharif and his party has done, for development, education and all. But when we talk about that, don't you think he's biased towards the province or towards a particular sector of the society? Even if we see the promotional campaigns, distribution of laptops and all. Why just in Punjab? We feel that all the progress has been a part of Punjab, Lahore. You see that's developed, 10 times more developed, than before.
No, my dear. There was a project called Gwadar Port, Coastal Highway, Jinnah Terminal,
Mm-hmm.
lots of Jinnah Bridge. This all projects were launched in Sindh. 25 acres land, green tractor. On the other hand, this motorway has launched to Peshawar, and in 99, October 8, a project was launched in Karachi, motorway M10. But after that, the government was taken over. Why only laptop in Punjab? Because the fund is from Punjab. So we can't do injustice. My own kids, they used to say, Baba, what is this nonsense? We are not getting this laptop. I say, I can't, because this fund is from Punjab. We can't give it to Sindh or Balochistan. But inshallah, when we will live in power, the best things we can do, we will extend our this program to Quetta, Karachi, Peshawar, and everywhere, whatever. Because everyone is equal before PML-N. We don't believe in ethnic, sectarian, and regional politics. We believe in one Pakistan politics.
If you would like me to decide the laptop scheme, I would gladly do it. You see, giving the
I would not like you to, but you are welcome to. I am not becoming party to this. You are welcome. It's a free platform. But if you permit me, just for a second, I'd like to just mention a few tweets which are coming. They're not necessarily questions, but I think I've just mentioned them. Ms. Shanira Ali says that please ask him, Dr. Alvi, about disqualifying Fauzi Kasuri and Umar Chima's petition, which was very accurate. If you feel you may answer that. And then how will Arif Saab, Ms. MT Khan says, how will Arif Saab compete against MQM, and where are there young mad boys on Twitter who use loose stock? That is a stigma which PTI has to live with. The abusive followers. Mr. Talhan Sari in your favor says PTI talks about change. The change they can control is saying no to the age-old political tactic of mudslinging. But unfortunately, I'm surprised, Talhan, PTI is the king of mudslinging at this point, at least. Sarah Badut Khan says, in your jalsa, there's huge mudslinging. Don't look at me like that. The jungla bus and it's really aggressive language, and that's really
people
just
don't
two more tweets
understand
and then please.
Yeah, okay.
Ms. Sarah Badul Khan says, being a youth at this election doesn't give me good days ahead. I'll go all hysterical, I'm sure. Please don't exploit us if you don't mean it. That's for both of you, please.
Yeah. And I think our intention is definitely, like I made a statement, our intention is not to exploit. Our intention is to envision what Pakistan should be like. And I feel that there's no better support to Pakistan which will come in the future for building Pakistan other than the youth. Irrespective of what PTI says, irrespective of what any party says, I think the youth will build Pakistan, and unless they play an important role, vote for any party. But unless they play an important role, Pakistan is not going to turn around.
What is that important role?
The important role is to come out and vote, and for the best party, make a selection. It's very easy. It's not difficult. You see, it's a binary logic. You know, this or this, this or this.
Yes,
those who have performed. I have to still answer a few questions.
Please, because he's disagreeing with you on that point that voting is not the answer. But
voting is not the answer. Voting is the answer. But there's no other system. I know. Other than voting,
we should not treat the youth as a wheel for the power. I feel that the youth is a mine of Pakistan. Mine. What I mean I mean it. Japan don't have any agro-based, don't have a raw material. But what is their asset is their human manpower. They train them, and now every Japanese is the asset. So we want to materialize the youth as a mine.
Yeah, but that's perfect. The thing is, right now we're standing at elections. That's great. We have to work with youth, but sadly, with due respect, all parties who have ruled before have ignored them. Suddenly, they seem very lucrative to everyone.
Why? Not all parties. It is
Every
they
party.
also.
Why?
It is they also that they ignore the political parties. Am I right?
But
they all said
my
no.
apologies. No,
I
I'm
don't
going to
think
speak
so.
for them.
I don't
They
think
did not
so.
ignore
They did
political
not.
parties.
The parents ignored.
No.
The culture
No.
ignored.
No.
The Pakistani
No.
society ignored.
No.
Beta nahi jana.
No, but there's a
Siyasat
reason.
mein.
No, but there's a reason. My older brother was an active student politician. Elections in his medical college, but in my times, no. Because I'm sorry, all political parties, including you, because you've had political affiliations in the past as well, violated. I'm not going to.
You know why
I know my history and I know my background.
Nowadays, we are
Dr. Kam is
getting more and
laughing.
more
I know my history
information.
and I know my background. Even your previous political party and the political party you're associating with now, and your parties, absolutely exploited, humiliated, almost raped the young student in the 70s, 80s, and political affiliations were completely banned for the longest time. I don't blame them for not being affiliated. You're responsible for that.
One of the reasons I left my previous political party, and that was 30 years ago, was this.
And now you're back with them, right?
No, I'm with the party which I helped.
But you're now back with them.
At 17.
But you're now back with them.
Now. No, we are not.
Yes,
we are
you are.
not. No, we can do seat adjustments.
Okay.
We can do seat
We had a long discussion that yesterday.
Oh, really? Okay. Now, let us talk to the youth.
Please.
Actually, you see, the youth will have to play a part, and why did they not? Because of security situations. Parents thought that if they go out and do politicking, they are under danger, and they have lived that kind of situation. But now, if Pakistan is so desperate to handle these things that the parents who felt that the parents who themselves withdrew from politics and started doing social work realized that social work is just a band-aid, because there are big gaps which open up if you don't take part in politics. And let me give you an example. We went to Mr. Imran Khan and I, we went to meet Mr. Erdogan in
Doctor,
Turkey.
you must give credit to the laptop. Because of the laptop.
But let him conclude. If I keep interrupting him, I'll be accused of not letting him speak.
PTI youth has an access to abuse whosoever they want.
I think if we keep on doing that,
it won't get anywhere.
It won't get anywhere.
Please.
So what I believe is that the participation of the youth, now the things are so bad. When we formed the party, we decided that we will not have a student wing. Imagine our own evolution. We decided we will not have a student wing because students should be studying. But as we moved on into Pakistan, the way Pakistan deteriorated, we feel that we must harness the strength of the youth and the vision. You see, youth are fresh. Youth do not have baggage. Youth are not influenced by, they do not have stakes like this, that they don't make compromises. So I think this is a very beautiful chance for the youth to play their part for any party. Let me advocate.
In just voting.
In just voting. Let me advocate. Do it for any party. Make a good selection of honest people who can deliver Pakistan through. Be aware of promises being made. Look at people who have performed. There are simple judgments which you should have to make. You would have to make, and be bold in your judgments.
Omar, question.
I have a question for Dr. Alvi. Basically, our generation, what I've seen is that you have a majority of the mind thought process. You have a significant hold over the youth in Pakistan. Some may disagree or not, but the promises that you have made are not really, what I feel is not really believable.
Give an example. Actually, give an example so we can talk about the promise.
Okay, ending corruption in 90 days. I've seen the bureaucracy. I've visited local governments and I've worked with them. It isn't
So
really.
that's one promise. How about another one?
Good.
Increasing investments in healthcare and increasing investments in education.
Okay.
I don't see how this will help us in the short term. I realize that this is very helpful for us, but Cuba has one of the best healthcare systems in the world.
Remarkable.
Sri Lanka has one of the best literacy rates in the world. They both are not considered developed.
Let me answer two questions. One, you mentioned that the first promise which we made was
ending corruption.
Ending corruption in 90 days. You know, the corruption which happened, I gave an example of Pakistan Steel. It happened within the first 90 days. You see, let me give you an example. The king of Saudi Arabia said that the fish rots from the head. You see, and if you stop corruption, for example, from the top, corruption never ended even in the Prophet ﷺ's life. You see, so if you say that corruption can end because there were sentences of people against people, there were crimes committed, and he executed sentences. So what I am saying, there is no society which is totally free. But when we say Pakistan is corrupt, it means much more corrupt than other societies. So we make an effort. I am making a bold statement that if the top is not corrupt, the bottom will have a major effect, mega effect. Like $30 billion worth of rupees worth of corruption happened in Pakistan Steel within 90 days.
Why I was disagreed because during the speech of Mr. Imran Khan, he has quoted that Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has got his success after 13 years. And after my 17 years of study, don't quote Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Similarly, don't quote that era. We are not in that era, or our society is not that kind of society. Number two, there is a difference between crime and corruption. Crime is something physical and moral. Corruption means that you are having an access on state property and state wealth, and you are misusing that wealth, power, and property of the state.
Mr. Alvi, that you have been listening many promises. My question is how? Do you have any strategies yet?
Yeah. You see, every area of what we intend to do. In fact, if I were to ask you 4 people sitting here, what are the solutions to Pakistan? All of you will have at least 20 or 30 solutions to Pakistan. The issue is not of the presence of solutions. There are no Einsteins needed in Pakistan to bring about a sudden change in everything. The issue is of intention and the will of the leadership to be able to do something. The prescriptions are there in the newspapers every day, and if you read the 1 year's newspapers, there is no better prescription for Pakistan to come out from the misery which Pakistan is. Imagine the poor people. Imagine, I took a taxi from Islamabad airport to my office, and the taxi person said that my livelihood was brought down for 3 days, and my children were hungry because of the Tahir Qadri's protest in Islamabad. But then he said, in talk shows you don't talk about me. You see, he says you don't talk about my CNG, you don't talk about my children's hunger. Even Tahir Qadri came, he talked about the constitution and things. So you see, can you imagine when we talk about corruption in Pakistan going down, but imagine what is happening at the bottom. You see, you are educated people, you are the elite of Pakistan today. It's remarkable, you are even less than 2%.
No, but see, I actually agree. Everybody wants them. So, come to me, come to me, come to me.
So
By the same time, you're saying go away, go away.
We are not saying go away.
But you are basically.
We are saying that you get involved. You
with
see,
voting.
make a judgment.
But with voting.
Yeah, with voting.
Voting leads to getting people into power.
And
that
change.
is not actually involving
And change.
Change what?
There's another thing. There's another thing you could do. There are 2 things that I thought I could do in my life. Either I'd do social work or I'd do political work. Then I made a judgment call. I said politics. Why? Because social work is just a band-aid. Imagine 1,000 EDs in Pakistan will not be able to change the direction if the people in politics are corrupt.
I thought I would have enough time. I'm so quickly. I'm just looking at my watch. I'm looking at you. I'm trying to push it. There's one tweet from Mr. No, not at all. You have to say this. Mr. Sharia Khan says, also finds hilarious how PTI refuses to understand the concept of political alliances and sees adjustments. Question.
My question was similar to that. The example that you quoted for corruption happened in the previous People's Party government.
Yeah. 90 days.
And the votes that you're fighting for, you're mainly fighting with PML-N. So how do you justify if
Let me give you an example.
whatever you're doing, you will be dividing the vote on the right, and then what will indirectly benefit? This will indirectly benefit the people that have already enjoyed.
There has been, imagine the governance in Punjab. Let me make a statement. Agriculture went down. The agriculture in Pakistan went up 3%. In Punjab, it went up only 2%. Punjab is an agriculture country. Imagine the health statistics are very poor, are the same. Imagine the education statistics are the same. 5 years of governance. Imagine Bihar. The gentleman from Bihar, I forget his name. Nitish Kumar. In entire India, the GDP growth was about 9%, and in Bihar it was 15%. So they could have performed well. Energy, they could have set up energy plants. You see, it's very easy to come out and say the central government is responsible for everything. The provincial government did not. Punjab would have been, poverty is that less, kidnappings are more, crime is more than before, about 100% more.
I'm sorry for cutting.
Let's talk about statistics.
Last minute, please.
Number one, they were having a slogan, Mukh Mukha. There was a governor Raj in Punjab. Governor rule. There was no Mukh Mukha. Number two, complete shutdown and power failure. When there is a power failure, you cannot run your agriculture, you cannot run your hand pump, you cannot run your industries, then complete blackout of CNG and gas.
So,
So
Mr. Hashmi, one would say
Number-
that the money
number-
you spent on laptops and
and
the metro could
on the
have
other
been
hand,
spent on
the other
power.
hand, on the other hand, the Sindh government spending 13,000 per person, and due to the population in Punjab, we are able to spend only 8,000 per person in Punjab. Out of this 8,000, we have made out the infrastructure, we provided in entertainment, sports, and all this facility, and almost 500,000, 250,000 laptops improved, and we supported the flood affected people. And on the best thing of Shahbaz Sharif is that he's honest, laborious, and his intention is too clear.
But that's every leader.
And he's honest.
Every follower
And
claims
we have,
absolute piety
we
of
have
their
a
leader.
vast experience. And on the other hand, you
need
just
to-
find a underway in Karachi. It takes 2 years. In Lahore, 90 days. This metro bus, 11 months.
They show
And
it.
then they
I
still
need-
don't accept.
I need-
This is 70 Arab, 70 billion. No, it is only 29.8 billion cost.
I need to interrupt. This show has gone completely wrong. I thought I would have a lot of time. I've run out of time, and I don't know how to make it tangible. This will need to be continued. There's a explosion of tweets in front of me, and I don't even have time to read your tweets. My apologies. I will probably try to continue the show or do something about it. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you very much. Good night.